Welcome to Idea Tennis, where we challenge ideas, elevate thinking, and serve up conversation that make you question everything.
My whole thing always is you figure out the how as you go along, but having clarity in where you're going is the most important part of your business. I didn't get this far to just get this far, and I'm not going to stop now because there's other things happening in life. I want more, I want better. I need to toot my own horn. I need to clap for my damn self. I need to share my offer. I need to email it, DM it, all the things, because that's the only way that I'm going to get my business to scale and to grow and to create that awareness. You can't be afraid or live in the space of, well, what would they think? Their thoughts are not paying your bills. Working on it.
I've been interviewing people. I got my regular interviews that I've been doing. I've been collecting data for a bunch of books that we're gonna write. So what I've been doing is I have people schedule. We just talk like this, and the transcript do the work, and then I just build up the enough over time, and then I go back, organize, and then start writing. Right. So I'm testing out that one process to see how fast I can move, how many people I can take on. So next year, once I finish Mindset Coward and Have Faith in a Miracle, there's two books I gotta get done by November. So once I get those done, I can see my capacity. I'm gonna launch the community now, like the whole backdoor thing, and then launch the website, launch the marketplace. I'm gonna call it website. Launch the marketplace, and then go from there. But I want to see how much people I can take on at one time, how much work I can take on, and then let's go decide out what I can do for next year, and then do the community thing. So that's the journey. So it's a lot. It's been a lot. I've actually been busy, and hopefully I want to finish. I won't finish my college until summer next year. So that's on my books too. So I gotta get that knocked out. But I got a rhythm. It's pretty easy. I just spend maybe 6 hours a week on school and get everything knocked out. So yeah, got a system going.
You've
Oh yeah.
been busy.
Oh, Jess, you have no idea how busy I've been. I learned
Versus
how to.
productive is
Huh?
the question, right? Busy versus productive.
Oh yes.
Because we could be busy and not
Mm-hmm.
be moving forward. The goal
Mm-hmm.
is to be busy, but moving in a forward
Mm-hmm.
projection.
Yeah, and here's the awesome thing, by the way. It's I'm learning to delegate my thinking to other people and find the right people to delegate my thinking to, and then have them take on a task that I don't have the time to do or not the interest, but it's still building the thing that I want to build. And a lot of things on the books that I'm seeing that's coming to fruition lately is like, oh man, I'm seeing it. I'm like getting, I'm telling you this. You heard the word this thing called a bail team, right?
A bail team.
The bail team. It's the concept around the banker, the
Mhm.
accountant, or the CPA type deal, insurance agency type deal, and then the lawyer, right? You have all those folks in your corner, the bank, the CPA, the accountant, an insurance person, and then the lawyer. And I've been attracting my bail team is falling into place little by little. Little by little, my bail team is falling into place. I don't know if you got your bail team completely filled out. Mine is not completely filled out, but they're coming into place. And maybe a few people I gotta switch around because I have some people that was representing that a little bit, but they're not really was the caliber I need. I'm seeing a better caliber of people coming into play for my bail team.
That's important. Excellence. Because excellence in one thing is excellence you do in all the things. So you call it your bail team. I call it my board of directors. The people that I trust,
Mm-hmm.
you're one of those people for me. I ask you for feedback because you get me to think
Mm.
in a very different way than I am used to thinking. I am very logical. I am very systematic. I am very process oriented. I think in a particular order of things,
Mm-hmm.
right? 1, 2, 3. I don't jump to 6. I haven't gone to 4 or 5 yet, right? I don't
Mm-hmm.
jump the numbers. You are a visionary. You are a long-term vision person in my life where you see things almost near or at the end result, like the finished product. And I love the fact that you get me to really think. I asked you your perspective. Sometimes I'm like, should I ask Asher or not? Because what is he going to say? But I love the fact that you get me to think different. I asked you for feedback on my Monday night community coaching session, and I wasn't clear on how I asked for the feedback. So that was one also a lesson, like be more clear in what kind of feedback you want, because people will just give you whatever feedback they want. What you did was get me to think critically, which
Mm,
I love, because in order for us as entrepreneurs to be able to level up and get to the next thing that we want, we need to be able to think critically and to really evaluate, are we staying true to what we have planned? In this case, the format of my coaching program. Am I staying true to it? Am I honoring what I said to my community that this coaching program would be like? You saying to me, like, to go back and look to see, was the person in the hot seat really in the hot seat, or is it me speaking more than the person in the hot seat? And it made me think a lot about it. And I said to myself, did Asher have a point? But what we didn't get to see was that a lot of the hot seat coaching actually happened before the actual coaching session.
mm,
And because we're limited to the 1 hour, I couldn't do that part live.
mm,
So I need to figure out, how do I, first off, the person that was in the hot seat on Monday night, on his own, without me asking him to, actually posted the responses to the questions I had, which was our dialogue back and forth, in the community for everyone to see, which I loved that. Because to me, it showed his level of transparency. Like, he's not looking to hide anything, he's just looking to grow. And so, from that perspective, that pre meeting work, he shared with people. I had also had a conversation with him before we went officially live to get some more clarity on those answers that he gave, so that we could maximize the time live to actually doing the exercise of building out his brand identity. And so while I wasn't speaking, even though I was speaking, I was reading the answers to help build out his program. And while I did try to engage him and ask him, like, does this sound like you? Or do you like this? I think he was in awe of what we were creating, that he was almost speechless, because he didn't disagree with the stuff, but he really wasn't elaborating more, as I guess you could say, as I would have wanted him to. But I also think that that's a thing for people who aren't used to coaching. What do you think?
Oh, it's a journey, but let me pause here a bit. I say I appreciate you valuing my response and my feedback, and that says a lot about your mindset as far as being open to, who's sitting on the other side of the table, what they're seeing, and we all need those people that we can like, hey, what did you see that I didn't see? Because sometimes you caught up in the moment, you don't notice things, and when you ask people, hey, what happened today? They're like, oh, this is what I noticed, and it's good to hear those responses. So I appreciate you valuing my feedback. No, as I am observing, and like you and I see coaching differently in some ways, right? Because I think you have the skills that I don't have, which you have really good, like the evaluation piece of how you do things. I'm always in awe of how you do it, and I think the reason why I would love to see more of that on display is when the client do a lot of speaking. Because when they do a lot of speaking, that's when I see the magic in you more often. When you do a lot of speaking, I don't get to see it. So I'm like, damn, Jess, your strength, I don't get to see today because you are doing a lot of presentation. But when the people get to talk and you get to respond to it, that's when I see your thing come alive the most. So I'm always biased in a way that I want to hear them speak and you get to evaluate them, because that's when I see their light bulb come on most of the time, when you get to evaluate them based on what you're saying. So that's my feedback right now as far as that. That's my bias in what I want to experience more when I see you perform, is do when you get people to talk and you get to evaluate them, you get to let them know what they're saying, so forth and so on. That part is a beautiful magic to me, and I like to see that in display.
My question then, how do I get the people
Mm.
to speak more?
Okay, so that comes back to, I think, questioning, because I think it was, I remember he was working with, I'm not gonna say anybody names right now,
Mhm.
But when he was asking this lady about certain things, and then she was answering questions, like giving feedback, like you asked question, like you're on the hot seat. That means what means it being in a hot seat? That means you gotta give me the answer from your story, right? What would you say to me? What would you respond to a question like this? I want to know where your thinking is coming from, because the only way to redirect thinking or to have people think about their thinking even more is for them to tell you what they're thinking. And if they only know about your thinking, then all they know is about your thinking. But I want to know about your thinking. So tell me what you think about this question I'm asking. So I think more questioning hot seat will create opportunities for the person to tell you what they're thinking about their own story, their own experience of reality, and explain it to you. And then from there, that's when you bring your own magic, which I love when you get to evaluate and tell people about what you recognize in that moment. And that's the part that brings me alive. When I see that happen, I'm like, yeah, yeah. So anyway, that's my cheering.
I think we're gonna get there. I do think that because the goal initially right now with the
Mm-hmm.
people that are part of the collective, they have one thing in common, and that's all creating a foundational business model that they
Mm-hmm.
haven't had before. Being able to really incorporate the ability to have multiple streams of income as a result of that foundational business model that they are creating. I do think that there will be opportunity and space as we continue to take the steps moving forward for me to be able to really put them in the hot seat and question them. So right now, the topic has been clarity. It's a thing that a lot of entrepreneurs lack.
We should talk about clarity even more today. It should be
Right.
part of the
That's right.
conversation.
Most entrepreneurs lack clarity. Most entrepreneurs have desire, right? They
Mm-hmm.
know that they want to do something. They don't have the clarity in exactly how to get there. And my whole thing always is you figure out the how as you go along, but having clarity in where you're going is the most important part of your business.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of people, they are so all over the place, they lack that clarity. And when we talk about clarity, we talk about
I don't like you making fun of me, Jess. Why are you making fun of me?
when we talk about clarity, we talk about brand identity, clarity in who you want to serve, even clarity in why you want to serve those people.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, they sleep on their own experience and the value that they bring as a result of that experience to other people. I am all about being humble. But
Mm-hmm.
when you don't recognize that you have experienced more things in life than most people can ever even think of experiencing, you are an expert. You have that value to add to others to help them go from here to there, to grow as an individual, as a person. It's not always about products, it's not always about service in the sense of like selling a service to somebody. To me,
Mm-hmm.
the most valuable businesses offer people experiences that last a lifetime. The things that become etched in your heart and in your head
Mm-hmm.
of some of the best value adds as a person you've received throughout life. And the fact that people don't recognize that what they have to offer someone is true impact at the end of the day.
I think I might have published this article. Maybe but it's so here's the thing, Jesse. The thing that I'm gonna use the fruit tree and the timber. So some people are fruit, like a fruit tree, like an apple tree, a mango tree, a orange tree. Like your value is obvious, right? The thing you bring is very obvious. Now you might be like a timber where the chair and the table is hidden inside of you. Like the chair and table is hidden inside of the tree. So you don't know how to really figure out, hey, this is my value, because nobody able to tell you what it is. So a lot of people, they're like timber right now. Their value is not obvious, right? I don't look at you and automatically see, oh man, you're a purpose living tree because I can see your fruit. Not everybody's like that. So then when you talk about the people that are no clarity, they're missing, like I was a timber. You found me when I was a timber. Now I feel like an apple tree right now because of my, when you found me, we was talking, I didn't know like where to focus because I have so much thing inside of me. But then when you start figuring the clarity piece, like, okay, well, I just want to be make tables and chairs now. The, just turn me into tables and chair, bro. Turn me into tables and chair. That's why you're gonna work on me, get me to create more tables and chair. But the whole time I don't know what to create, but there's value in me, but most people don't see it. So that's my thing.
I love that. Just so you know, you're gonna hear me say that. I'll give you credit for it. Are you a fruit tree or are you a timber? I mean, it is so accurate, that
Mm-hmm.
analogy. I will also say this: when you're a
Mm-hmm.
fruit tree and people pick off of your tree, they
Mm-hmm.
pick all the fruits, at some point there's nothing left to give.
And you gotta recognize you're in the season of
Yes, growth. Yeah.
harvest is up, harvest is ended. I'm winter now until I get back in spring and I'm sparkling and thing and summer is ready. But yeah, but then we gotta get back to the season piece of it. But keep going.
And when you recognize that you are a timber,
Mm-hmm.
you can eat off the fruit right from the tree, but you can live from the timber. Like you can build a house, you can build the chair, you can build the foundation, you can live off of the timber. And being able to recognize that, yes, most people want to be the fruit tree.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why?
Because it's easy and it's obvious.
Because they are perceived that people can view the beauty of the tree. They can see how beautiful the apples look on the tree.
Yes.
But when they see the timber, it's not always so obvious.
Mm-mm.
It just looks plain. It looks ordinary until you create something extraordinary from it. And being able to recognize that it's not the glitz and the glam, that make entrepreneur life feel like you're successful. What creates the true success is to be able to have that meaningful impact on someone else's life, on their business, to be able to help them realize that it's not the glitz and the glam, but it's the foundation, how strong the house is that you have that's going to give you the ability to scale and sustain. You may start out with a small little house from the tree that you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you keep going, you keep growing, you keep helping people recognize that within them lies the possibility for more. And you show them how to tap into that more. Pretty soon, that little house
Mm-hmm.
becomes a big house. Then it becomes the mansion. And then it becomes the estate. And it becomes, why does it become that? Because you've created so much meaningful impact. In my house, I see a lot of people. I see a lot of people in my house, not just me and my husband. I see a lot of people in my house, the people that I've been able to create impact. And for them at the end of the day, and I've shared this before, I want them to be able to say, because I know Jess or I knew Jess, my life was better.
Mm-hmm.
And I want my house to be filled with all of those people. And not because it says anything about me other than I was able to create legacy. We speak about legacy in so many different ways, but for me, legacy is not money. Legacy is the impact that I have, the impact and the ability to change generations beyond. I help you tap into living your best life, being the best version of Asher, helping other people create impact. That's now changing the trajectory and the future of your children.
Mm-hmm.
And you being able to do that for other people and other people being able to tell your children, do you know the impact that your dad, Asher, had on me? You don't think that that's going to create impact and change within your children to recognize and realize that the legacy that you started is something that they can continue? I do this for the future grandbabies that aren't born yet.
Let's go back to clarity and the timber because you got me thinking about the journey that I was on, feeling like a timber, where there's so much in me, there's so much possibility. You know, you say you can build houses, you can build tables and chairs, you can do all these things, but the thing that happens with people that doesn't have the clarity, they don't know where to start, like where to focus on, like So just decide you're just gonna make tables and chairs, or you're just gonna be a table maker or a chair maker. Like from me, I'm just gonna become a lot of tables or chairs. But because we're feeling like we can do all these things, but we never focus on one thing, then we never convert the timber into something useful. And then we envy the fruit trees because people are like, oh, people walk up, they already know I can get apples here, or I can get orange here. It's obvious. But now other timber, I don't know. So then my question now is when you think about the folks that are very confused, have so much potential, but doesn't know where to focus, right? Where to focus their thing at, then how do you help them transform into recognizing that timber can do a lot, but just focus on this? Because that's what you did for me.
I think that helping people recognize that when you talk about being an entrepreneur, wanting to either start or grow your business,
Mm-hmm.
that foundation is important. And essentially, that's where you start, is at that foundation. Who do you want to serve and how do you want to serve them?
Mm.
When you talk about all the things, does that mean that you're going to do all the things at the same time? That becomes, when people,
That's where burnout lives.
yes, that's where burnout, overwhelm, stress, like that's where nightmares go to be born. Really, it does. You know why? Because if you're focused in on 4 different things, like how focused are you actually? And it doesn't mean that you can't eventually get to all 4 of those things, but you have to have your foundational business model strong. You have to be able to know, okay, within that foundation, I have pillars of my business. And the different pillars of my business perhaps serve different purposes, different communities, but they all have something in common that creates or goes back to that foundation of my business. For example, the foundation of your business, Asher, is book writing, right?
Oh, you asking me or you telling me?
Storytelling. Storytelling.
Yeah. Book writing, book
Storytelling.
writing. At the core, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's the core, the foundation of your business. Now, within that foundation of your business, you have the ability to have different pillars. So if you think about it, different extensions of what you do
Mm-hmm.
based on who you're serving, how you're serving them, what you're serving them with, and then being able still to all fall back on the one thing of storytelling and of helping people write books. Now, within that, you have the ability to offer services, you have the ability to offer products, you have the ability to create community, all within that model that you've created as your foundation. Can you do it all at once at the same time and do it to the best of your ability?
Can I? No, but can me and my team? Yes. But most of the time, and you're a solopreneur, it's just you. You gotta focus on one thing because it's just you.
Yes.
Mm.
And I think that for a lot of people, especially when you are a solopreneur or you are just starting out in your business journey, you need credibility. You need credibility. Why? Because credibility then becomes the validation. It then becomes the reason why people want to do business with you. It's why they want to be a part of your community. It's why they want to buy your product or pay for your service because you have credibility. I actually had a conversation with someone earlier today, and last night we spoke about your brand, your business brand is not a logo. It's
Most people think that is what it is, but it's
no,
mm,
it's an experience. It's a feeling. I have been blessed to be able to say that most of the people that I do business with, the people that pay me as a coach, they don't ask me what do they get. Not one person has ever asked me, what do I get for X amount of dollars or what do I get for X amount of hours? None of them have. They have the feeling based on their previous experience with me that if they hire me or participate in my community coaching program or have one-on-one sessions with me, that they will be better off, that I have enough experience and expertise to be able to help them without them even having to explain to me what they need help with.
you know, I gotta say this. This is interesting. I forget what book I was reading, but It's the idea that the only people ask you, what do I get? Is a cold customer. The one that are very warm and hot, they don't need to ask you that because they already know. Because they've
Mhm.
been listening and following and experienced you long enough to like, okay, no, I'm ready to step inside the hot seat. I'm ready to step inside the warm part of Jess' heart. But wherever it is, I'm ready to step in because I've been following you long enough. And I think that's what all of us want to get to a place where I don't have to tell you what I'm going to offer you because you already know, right? Because the story already, the brand is out there. The story is out there. You understand. But the cold people were like, okay, I'm getting this thing, what I'm going to get. Because they don't know. That's why they ask that question.
Is it a valid question?
It is a valid question.
It is a valid question because they don't know you. They don't have the experience of you. They've never felt your energy before. They've never seen what you've been able to do with other people. They've never experienced your coaching style before. They don't know. So they want to know before they make an investment what they're going to get out of it. I love that I'm able to tell people with my whole heart, you're going to get 100% of me doing my best to help you be your best.
Mm.
Can I make any guarantees? Absolutely not. Why? Because it requires effort, action, deliberate decision making that sometimes doesn't feel good, is hard. It requires you to do something that makes you feel uncomfortable, perhaps that you've never done before. And I cannot control that part of you. So there is no guarantee. What I can guarantee, though, is if you take action based on the work that we do together, you will be closer to the goals you've set for yourself and for your business and have the ability to create meaningful impact with the work that you do. That's the guarantee that I can give.
Have you ever heard this term? It says most people know what to do, just don't know how to make themselves do it. And oftentimes it's the make yourself do it part is the hard part. Because somebody gotta keep you accountable, somebody gotta remind you. Like Earl Nightingale said, we all need more reminding than we need more educating. Because people know. Like you've been reading this, you've been watching everywhere, you've been seeing it. You just can't make yourself do it. And that's the hard part. Just like even when somebody's out of shape, they know how to work out, they know what to do. They just can't make themselves do it, or they can't make themselves stop eating the thing that's making them like we just don't know how to make ourselves do the thing we need to do. And that's the challenging part. And that's the part I really appreciate when you have surround yourself with the right people.
Mhm.
They will help you to make yourself do the thing you need to do.
That's the missing link for a lot of solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, is the accountability part because you don't have a boss looking over your shoulder to see if
To
you're
make you
doing
do it.
it right. Right? You don't.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. So because there's no accountability, life happens to everybody. And it generally happens like at the worst possible time. Just when you're on a roll, you got the momentum going, the mojo is flowing, and life hits you hard.
Mm.
And sometimes it hits you hard from like multiple angles. And it's like, dang, give me a break. And what happens is that the first thing you stop doing or you give up on is yourself. The things that matter the most to you in achieving your goals and building your business, whether it's scaling it or growing it, you give up on you because you then feel everything else is more important to deal with
Mm.
than you going to, I'm going to say, a networking event to meet people that are going to possibly help you fund your project or expand your business opportunities. Or you don't realize that you being in that room for 1 hour networking is not going to be the end all be all to all the things that are currently happening in your life. All the crisis, all the challenge, all the obstacles, all the chaos that's happening is still going to be there when you leave that networking event. But you feel almost like you're guilty or you're wrong for staying focused on what you want for your goals and your dreams and your business because all this noise is happening here. You need to stay so laser focused. You need to have that tunnel vision. There have been moments and seasons in my life where there has been absolute, utter chaos. It
Mm.
doesn't mean that I'm ignoring it, but it also means for me that that is the reason why I need to go harder. It is the reason why I need to go more, continue down the path that God has destined for me. I didn't get this far to just get this far, and I'm not going to stop now because there's other things happening in life. I want more. I want better. I need to push myself, even when I don't feel like it, which is why I say feelings have no room in business, like none.
Mm. Here's a make yourself do it moment. And I'm a shout out LinkedIn right now because I think LinkedIn. I mean, I think Facebook has its option too, but I like the one on LinkedIn. Right, it's the option where like your connection on LinkedIn, they have their anniversaries, they have their birthdays, they have these moments that LinkedIn automatically alerts you, let you know, so you can send them a message, right? And I tell you what, Jess, this is I'm giving away. This is free back inside here. But I love the option where LinkedIn let you hit somebody up. They say, "Hey, congratulations on 2 years in your business, or 5 years, or 10 years, or happy birthday, or whatever." But it's the best cold reach option I've experienced. I've seen that worked. People respond. Most of the people respond, but then you're able to start a conversation because the cold piece of building your business and reaching out to people is that you got to figure out what do you say first,
Yes.
and it's very hard because you don't know them. But guess what? LinkedIn do. And they're gonna let you. And LinkedIn say, "Hey, man, it's their birthday, it's their anniversary. Send them a message," and they send a message to the inbox. And then most people respond, "Thank you, Asher. Thank you for reminding that." Blah blah. Guess what? I have a response to that now. We can start a conversation. You can build a relationship over time. And a game is long term relationship to figure out what you can learn about that person, understand their pain, or their single biggest challenge they're going through. If they're willing to tell you, then you can figure out, hey, can I provide you a solution or not? But I want to shout out to LinkedIn for that. And I know just you on LinkedIn as I am too. And the folks that are listening, it's if you're a business person, I think you should really start investing in understanding how LinkedIn work. Facebook got some option too, but Facebook got a lot of restriction. You're trying to send people stuff, you start restricting. Like there's too much restriction on Facebook. I mean, I feel like Facebook is the government. All this bureaucracy on there, right? But I love LinkedIn. It's way more freer. What are your thoughts on that?
So, what I'm going to say is, I do believe that LinkedIn is the right place for entrepreneurs because the people that are
Mhm.
there to make connections. They're there to network. They're there to expand their network of people. They are there to collaborate, to do business with one another. That is their intention, the self promotion part of what they do for work or their business is what they are there for. When you talk about can you use platforms like Facebook to network or build business? Yes, but I think that people have been taken aback.
Scammed.
I was going to say because of the schemes and the scams and the things
Uh-huh.
on that platform, because that platform really is not exclusively for business and entrepreneurs and companies. That is more of people that are self-interested. I think I've said this before. How I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I love to scroll, but I don't really like to necessarily post at this phase in life, which is a detriment. And I understand that. And so I've been working on getting better at posting. But
I've been tagging you a lot. Some of them you approve, some you don't.
for me, the thing is
Mm-hmm.
that people put the highlight reel of their life on those platforms like Facebook and Instagram. Or you have the polar opposite. People that all they do is complain and complain and depress. I'm like, I don't like block, unfollow, like want to see that. Right. But then you have the people that put the highlight reels and that's also not real. That's not also reality. We all have struggles. We all have things we encounter. We all have days where, the sun's not shining.
The season
But
comes and goes.
yeah, but if you go and you post and you use these platforms with intention, you have a purpose, you have a reason. For some people, it's just to be social and connect with their friends. On my Facebook, it is private. Because every once in a while, I'll put my family stuff, and I don't want everyone in the world to know all my family stuff. And what I mean by family stuff is like I'll put things about my nephew or I'll put things about my son and my daughter-in-law, not private business, but still, that's not something that I necessarily want a stranger to scoop up their picture. And so I am more selective on my Facebook and who I allow as a friend. My Instagram, I don't really put a lot of personal things. That's more about my business, my brand, my lifestyle, my community. And every once in a while, I'll put something, but nothing crazy. And if anything, I'll put it in a story, which I've been putting a lot of stories lately about like things that I've been seeing online. I'm like, all right, this is kind of fun.
Because it
Giving
goes
people,
away. Yeah.
it goes away. Also giving people insight and like my personality. I believe that's where that belongs, kind of the things that go away. So whether, if you know me, I curse like a sailor. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I don't know why. When my son was growing up, you know how usually parents will be like, oh, we have a swear jar. If you say a bad word, you need to like put, right? In our house, it was the opposite. My son used to tell me, Ma, I'm gonna put a jar, and every time you curse, you need to put $1 in the jar, and I'm gonna be rich. I'm like, I'm not putting no dollars in the jar. But I wouldn't say it like I put no effing dollars in the jar, right? So that's who I am. Every once in a while, I want to share like something I see on social media that is very aligned with my personality. It may have the F bomb or it'll say something fresh. I don't want people to see that for forever. I just want the people to see it for, 24 hours, get a taste of who I am. But then the very next post will be about the calling God has for your life. So you'll get all the versions of Jess up in the stories. But I think that's where that lives, right? So it's using it with intention, knowing how to use it. Last night, we ended with something, and I think we should end this conversation today with the something that we ended last night with, because it was a wake up call for me that you have been ringing this alarm in my face for over a year. And
What did I do? I'm curious to know
I've
now.
been pressing the snooze button when you ring this alarm, but you need to make your offer until it becomes offensive.
Hmm.
You need to tell people what your offer is, what your service is, what you're selling, so much so that at some point for some people, we become offensive and overwhelming. Like, I cannot open Facebook without her saying what it is that she's selling or what it is that she has or what is she. Why? Because for me as a business owner, that's what I use my social media for, to create reach, to tell people what it is that I'm up to. I used to always believe the work in silence and let your results speak for themselves. But at some point, in order to continue to get those results and in order for you to scale, you need to start shouting to the world what it is that you're doing, what you have to offer. And if they're not your people, they'll unfollow you, they'll unsubscribe, and that's good. Why? Because now it's leaving more of your people the opportunity to hear what it is that you have. And so you've said that to me, that I need to be the CNN on my social platforms, and I just keep ignoring you until now.
Mm. I would add this year, and I think we're so lucky because social media is the cheapest media ever. Like cheapest
Free,
media ever
for free.
for free, right? And then something that I had to bake into my own brain is that I'm always speaking to a new customer. I'm always speaking to a cold client. That's in my mind. So that means I gotta be introducing myself all the time. I gotta say things that just in case they never seen it before, they know like, okay. So then I gotta keep sharing because we think that if I say number one thing today, number two thing today, number three, number four, that people gonna see them in sequence. And it doesn't happen that way. So then the fastest way to win is to always build awareness because that is the easiest way, the cheapest media to build awareness. And when somebody's seen you long enough, maybe they warmed up and like, sure, bro, I desire the thing, and guess what? I'm gonna make a payment. But we don't know when they're gonna make payment because we don't want to sell it to people that are not aware. So that's where you get the most rejection at.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna give me something I'm not aware of. You're trying to sell me. No, you get me interested in desiring the thing, and then boom, make the sale. And social media is not for that. It's to build awareness. Cheap media.
Yes. I put a post on my Instagram last week, I think it was, a picture. And the caption for the picture was, let me reintroduce myself. First off, that picture has gotten the most likes that I've gotten in a really long time. And it's gotten a lot of engagement, the people writing comments on it. And I was like, why haven't I done this in so long? Because I had the mindset that most people have of, I did it once before.
Mm.
And so, yes, I may have done it once before, but the new people that are now following me, they didn't see it. They don't know who I am. They maybe found my page because they saw something I posted in the public for you, or that we have friends in common, or I don't know why they follow me or they decided to be my friends on Facebook, but I need to take for granted that they already heard or know who I am. I need to constantly reintroduce myself. I need to constantly tell people what I am looking for. I need to constantly tell people what it is that I am doing. I need to toot my own horn. I need to clap for my damn self. I need to share my offer. I need to email it, DM it, all the things, because that's the only way that I'm going to get my business to scale and to grow and to create that awareness. Before, that wasn't necessarily my mindset. And I will say this, as an entrepreneur, that is the mindset you need to have when you're talking about growth and scaling. You can't be afraid or live in the space of, well, what would they think? Their thoughts are not paying your bills.
Mm.
Their thoughts are not paying your rent and your mortgage and your car note. Their thoughts are not. So let them have their thoughts and let you have the deposits in the bank. But what their thoughts are none of your business. And when you're able to recognize that and to realize that your goal is not to connect with the people who aren't interested in what you have, they will fall off on their own. Your goal is to connect with the people who are looking for what you have, who are seeking your services, who want your products. But the only way for them to know what it is that you have is to shout it out.
Here's what I would add before we close out here. And it's the idea that people that are not interested in you, they're not thinking about you. The people who are interested in you are the people that are thinking about you. So when you're worrying about what people think, the people that don't care, they're not thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. Because most of the time, if you think about, like, what are you thinking about? You're thinking about you. Who are you most self-conscious about? You, not the other person. So we worried about what people think, and most people are not thinking about us in the first place. So once I learned that mindset, my friend, I'm like, wait a minute, it's so true. What I think about most days, the people that I'm interested about. For example, right, Dan Sullivan, he's my number one guy.
Yes.
I search all the time. He got a new podcast out. He got anything new, a new book out, whatever. I'm curious to know what this guy's thinking, what he's processing in his mind, right? Same thing. I look up Myron Golden, one of my other favorite guys. Oh, he got a new podcast or whatever. Like, I'm always looking for new information from these people that I think about all the time. But the people that I don't care, like, they can post stuff. I'm not thinking about them. So we worrying about what people think, knowing that people not thinking about us. If we get that in our head, we'll start posting more, start sharing more, start telling people what we about. And before you know it, the person that want to think about you start noticing you because you're putting stuff out.
I will say this as my last words. The universe conspires
Mm-hmm.
for you when you start to do that. When you start to tell people what you're up to, what you're doing, and not so much about the aspect of you, but what you've been able to do for other people. We got a 5-star review from a friend of ours who watches our podcast, and shout out to Cheryl. If you see this, and she read our book and she shared her experience. I posted that review, not so much to say, go buy my book, but if you're reading what I'm writing and you're picking up what I'm putting down, it's, if the book had this impact for Cheryl, could it possibly have the same impact for you?
Mm-hmm.
So I now am turn the page to that old story of working in silence and letting my results speak for themselves. Now everyone will get tired and offended of hearing what Jess is up to on social media in real life, because it's the only way that I can create more impact.
That season is over, a new season begins. There's a season for silence, there's a season for loudness. I think Jess is in a loud season now. So
So watch out.
shout out to the loud season.
Mhm.
But I wanna close with this, Jess. For the folks that are listening, November, Jess, myself, Jessica, Vanessa, Easton, Joshua Fields. We were coming out with this book called Mindset Coward. I want to put it out there now. It's called Mindset Coward, Lying Your Way to the Truth. And eventually in the future, we're going to put together something, even on the idea of truth retreat, a truth retreat where we're going to retreat into truth. We're going to talk about truth. We're going to express what truth means to us and also what lying, because the other side of lying is truth. And oftentimes, most of our life, what we do, we lie our way to the truth. Because if you realize how life works, we're born in ignorance. That means we're going to say things that ain't real, that ain't true. People are going to tell us things to protect us that ain't true, but we lie our way to the truth. But at the end of the day, we want to put a flag into truth. But on your journey to truth, you understand that you're going to be lying some of the time, right? And what that lie look like, you got to go investigate that for yourself. What the lie that people told you when you was growing up, got to investigate that for yourself. Because oftentimes we're living a lot of lies. The
Mhm.
mask, we have it. We wear it a lot because what? We're insecure, we're ignorant. But at the end of the day, to get the confidence, to get the truth, you gotta start, escaping the lie. So with that, just for your last word, and let's close out.
I'm excited and I can't wait for Mindset Coward. Really, because exactly what you just said, we live so much of our life lying our way through the truth, and being able to help people recognize that sometimes the lies we tell that we think are the little white lies, whether we're being told or we are telling them, are for someone else's sake. It's really more about the insecurity. It's more about the fear. It's more about the judgment. I'm excited for the world to hear these impactful stories. And yeah, I'm all about that truth retreat, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. All right, team. With that, subscribe to the podcast. Let us grow the number together. Actually, together we are family here, and I make it an utterly fantastic day.